commemorate International Women's Day, Plan International Zimbabwe hosted Iris Gold, a Danish singer-songwriter, and her team for a week-long philanthropic work visit during the first week of March 2025.
On March 2nd, 2025, Iris and her team paid a visit to guitarist and music producer Mukundu and had an interesting discussion about his musical journey and philosophy.
This is an amazing, award-winning, I would say, Zimbabwean guitar player. His name is Mono, the opposite of stereo. God's favorite guitarist. My name is Iris Gold, and I don't know whose favorite I am, but you know.
You can be God's favorite vocalist.
Okay. Okay.
Then that makes.
You know, in Denmark we have a law that's called Janteloven, and it's a law that means that everybody's equal, and it's actually really tricky when you're an artist and you feel special. So it's hard for me to hear. I don't know. It's hard to be too cocky in Denmark. You kind of have to be very like humble, even though inside you're like a festival and you know you're special.
Our culture in Zimbabwe also emphasizes a lot on humility, and the love of visitors. I'm sure if you have gone around, you see how they love foreigners. Yeah, that's our culture. So it also emphasizes on humility and the love of visitors. So I think you feel welcome in Zimbabwe.
I do. I mean, I felt welcome straight away. I felt like the air was like, yeah, I can be here. Yeah. But anyways, I want to tell the people here that we're going to do a radio show together. It's the first time playing together. We played it through 3 times.
We met 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting because we've never played before.
Oh.
Yeah.
You said it was like we're going on an adventure?
Yeah, it's like an adventure. It was working with someone you've never worked before, someone you've met 15 minutes ago. And it's interesting.
I like the way that you incorporate your Zimbabwean sounds.
Yeah, I always feel if you're doing a collaboration with someone from another country, you have to represent who you are.
I like this though.
I don't like the idea of being swallowed up. Nice. If I'm collaborating with for example, Jamaican, coincidentally you have Jamaican, you'll be portraying your Jamaicanness. And I make sure that I portray my Zimbabweanness. That's my philosophy every time. Every time I'm working with someone from outside, I have to put my Zimbabwean fingerprint as well.
And when did you know, like, okay, you were God's favorite guitarist?
From the time I was very young, I just had a passion for music, especially the guitar. I remember every time I saw someone holding a guitar, my heart would pound very fast, even when I was still very young. Yeah. But in Zimbabwe, our culture was very much against someone becoming a musician. Because there was this belief that said, if you are a musician, one, you'll never marry, you'll be very promiscuous, you'll die of AIDS.
What? Yeah.
So no parent wanted their children to become musicians. So especially my father was very much against it. So every time he saw me holding a guitar or any instrument, I was given corporal punishment. But I made sure that I had to hide it. And so I started playing a homemade tin guitar. Yeah. Where you just take a plank, take a tin, that would be your body, and then you take a plank, you put it there. And for the strings, we used to put fishing lines because they were easy to buy. And then for the tuning pegs, you put sticks, proper sticks.
And how did you know how to make that?
I saw others making them.
Okay, so because
no parent would buy his child a guitar.
Yeah, and I mean, you didn't have YouTube.
I'm speaking of the 80s, around 1983, 84. Because I'm old, I'm 55. That's a long time ago, in the 80s. So there was no YouTube, no internet. Yeah, so that's how I started playing with a homemade tin guitar. And then in 1988, that picture that I showed you, that's my first band.
Why?
Yeah, I was in Form 3. That's when I learned to play a proper guitar.
You look very funky.
Yeah, that time I used to have a single dreadlock. That's where my name comes from. It was called a monologue because it was one.
Was it behind here?
It was there.
In the middle? Okay.
But I used to hide it in my hair because when that picture was taken, I was coming straight from school.
Oh.
So it was not allowed to have dreadlocks in school.
To have dreadlocks.
So I had a small afro. So I used to hide it in my afro.
But were you a Rasta?
That's a very good question. Because reggae music was my favorite genre.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to be a reggae musician.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you see Bob Marley there.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Me too, by the way.
Oh, nice. That makes two of us. So reggae music is always talking about your culture, love your culture. So I started thinking, what is my culture and what is my music? So reggae music is what pushed me to start falling in love with my own Zimbabwean type of music, mbira music. So
mbira.
Yeah, mbira, that instrument that I showed you, it's called, that's the mbira. So a year before I started, in fact, the first 100 songs that I wrote, Things Fall Apart. Okay, this is my very first songbook.
Things Fall Apart, I like that as a title as well.
Yeah, it's a book called Things Fall Apart. So this is my very first songbook.
Wow.
1986. It's a long time ago. So all these songs are reggae songs.
I know. This is how my first books look like as well.
Yeah.
I like this with the scribbled out.
I'll be cancelling. Maybe I'll have found better lyrics. It was all reggae.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 16, I said, you know what, I want to switch to local Zimbabwean music. So by the time I started my first band, we were already playing mbira music. So I started straight away with mbira music when I turned professional. So I hope I answered your question. Yes,
and also more. Way more than that. I listened to the Bob Marley song Zimbabwe after I'd been here last time, and it feels even more special than I think it would have if I hadn't been here. You know?
Do you know he came to perform at our Independence Day?
I do know that.
Do you know that he performed for free?
I do know that.
Yeah, and he brought his instruments also for free. He did everything for free and even left the instruments here.
Wow.
So after he came, Zimbabwe was struck with the reggae bug. Everybody started loving reggae music. And that time there was an unwritten law which said no matter what genre of music your band is identified with, you had to have a reggae section on your program. Otherwise people would pelt you with whatever, stones or beer, whatever. It was an unwritten rule. So you really had to play some reggae music. That's how Bob Marley affected our music. He came 1980. Up to now, we still love reggae music a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen around there's a lot of some restaurants and bars and stuff where they just play reggae music. And the first time I was here, I was like, I wonder why I didn't really put it all together. You know what I mean?
It all started with him. Yeah. With Robert Nesta.
And one thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain, right?
You feel no pain,
But do you feel like music can really transcend pain and trauma and things that you go through too?
Yeah, now that you mentioned trauma, that's a very good topic because that's one thing I think our nation needs to understand more. Things like trauma and mental health. Because our people are very religious. Sometimes such problems like trauma and mental health are just given spiritual titles. Just say, no, it's got a demon, it's got a spiritual problem. So if someone is suffering from mental health, instead of taking him to psychiatrists, they take him to prophets, problem gets worse.
Yeah.
Because prophets are not psychiatrists. So I just thought I had to mention it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that as well.
Okay.
So when people here, if they go through trauma or mental health, they go to see a, you said kind of a prophet. But how could music help to heal, these issues?
Music has got this calming effect. We talked about Bob Marley's song, which says, when it hits you, you feel no pain. So I've got a friend who did a master's in music therapy. So I think, I hope next time we meet again, because after this, I now have homework where I want to really go deep and ask my friend how they use music in therapy. But generally, music makes you calm.
I agree. It's like a non-starter question. I think Bob Marley answered it really, really well.
We've got two genres, basically. There's the mbira that I was playing that time. That so what you do is you play melodies around a chord progression, as opposed to Western music where you have to play the chords. So, for example, if the chords are, for example, the song is in 6/8 or what I think 4/4, like these are the chords, but you don't play like that. You play melodies around, for example. So you play melodies around the chord progression. But for mbira guitar, you play fourths and fifths. But we've got another genre called sungura, where you use thirds, like so I'm just playing 1/4/5. But like I said, you are not supposed to play chords. You play
melody around it.
Yeah. And the way we play is like if you watch someone play drums. Yeah, that's the way that's the rhythms that we use.
Yeah, exactly. It's percussion, like that.
So it's very percussive. The same way we play drums, that's the rhythms that we use when we play guitar.
In your melodies.
So we've got very interesting.
On Monday, March 3rd, they performed an acoustic version of her song Boys Boys with Mono Mukundu live on ZFM Radio.
ZFM Stereo.
Yeah. Mama party, daddy wasn't there. 6 years old, it felt like no one cared. But the men didn't really like me. They said I drove them wild. Hush now, baby, don't put up a fight. Yeah. Mama didn't like me in everything. 12 years old, she said, get out of here. But my boyfriend really liked me, and he liked to fight me. Don't be difficult, girl, not a smile. Boys, 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 they all really like me, really, really like me. Boys, 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 I'll be a good girl. Boys, 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 they all really like me, really, really like me. Boys, 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 I used to be a good girl. Wasn't easy, had to grow up quick. Never showed it why my skin got thick. I just know life really tried me, and I don't have to play nicely. I'm not your baby, I don't need to smile. Boys, 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 they all really like me, really like me. Boys, 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 I'll be a good girl. Boys, 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 they all really like me, really, really like me. Yeah, I used to be a good girl. So, CIFM, Miss Red, DJ Miss Red in the house.
Yeah.
We are happy to be here. We are blessed to be in the studio. Zimbabwe, Harare. We want to send you some love and some good vibes. Here we go. Sunshine, letting in, iris golden wings out. You might like me, but no means no. 2, 3, 4. Boys, 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 they only like me, really like me. I used to be a good girl. Boys, 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 they always like me, really, really like me. Yeah, I used to be a good girl. Hey, sunshine, let it in, iris golden wings now. You might like me, but no means no. Woohoo!